All right, Shalom. This is your brother Shabar from the Phoenix camp. With that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QUADASH. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. And what I'm going to get into today is basically what the scriptures say about manhood, being a man, because I saw in a video one time, the Elder Gabar, Apostle Elder Gabar, he said, before you become a man of the Lord, you got to be a man. And the thing about it, that the majority of us, Jake, man, the so-called Black Team Native Americans, we really haven't been given that understanding of what it is to be a man, because most of us were raised by our mothers, fatherless homes. There was no really instruction of how or what it is or what defines to be a man. There's brothers that they learn discipline through sports, or brothers that were in the military, they learn discipline. Well, that's part of being a man, because that teaches you to control your emotions and to pursue goals, which is part of being a man, and to have order in your life, which is a big part of being a man. So when you come into this truth, you got to act accordingly, man. You got to if you're not instilled with discipline, if your life isn't instilled with order, then you're still in that childish mind state. And the scriptures say that we have to be disciplined, we have to be in order, we have to have a set of values that we live by, a set of standards that we live by, regardless of the situation, regardless of what comes upon us. That's what being a man is. And we have to be men, especially in these times to come, in the times that we're living in right now. I'm just going to get a few scriptures, and most high willing will be edified. This is 1 Kings 2, and I'll start at verse 1. It said, now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, so David's at his deathbed. The Lord's going to take that life away from him, that breath of life away from him. So he wanted to give counsel to his son. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. So that's what he's saying, man. These were his words, his dying words to Solomon. I go the way of all the earth. Be strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. And he's going to break it down to Solomon. He's breaking it down to his son what exactly it is to be a man. And keep the charge of the Lord thy power. And in order to keep the charge of our Lord our power, what do we need, man? We need discipline. We need order in our life. We need standards and morals. To walk in his ways, to have a standard, to keep his statutes and his commandments and judgments and his testimonies. So basically what David's telling his son, he's telling him to live by a standard, to live by a code, to live by an order. That's what he's telling him to do. As it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whatsoever thou turnest thyself. So that's what it is, basically, in a nutshell, to be a man. And Solomon, he took that lesson to heart, because if you read back in Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, which was written by Solomon, he repeated pretty much those dying words, those last words that his father told unto him. This is Ecclesiastes 12, and I'll start at verse 13. It says, so let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahawah and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So man's supposed to live by his standard. Man's supposed to live by order. Man's supposed to live by integrity. These are the traits of a man, according to the Bible, which is, the Bible is the authoritative definition of everything upon the earth. So he's repeating what his father Solomon, like his father David told him. So he's getting that counsel. He's getting instructed. So we have to learn to be men in this truth, man, in our daily life. You can, just because you know 1,000 scriptures, and and you can put on but if your life, if your household is in order, and if you're not in order throughout the week, you know you're just a parrot, like the apostles say. We have to be men of integrity, man. What's that? We get 2 Corinthians 14 and 14. And that requires a complete overhaul in our mentality from what we were in the world and our thinking of the world, and how we come into this truth. This is 2 Corinthians 14 and 14. And it says, let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man. So basically, those things that of the world are old, man, basically. Put off now the weak nature, man. So a weak mentality is not going to cut it. You ain't putting on their leg if you have a weak mentality. And set aside the thoughts are most heavy unto thee. So that woe is me mentality, that feel sorry for yourself mentality, it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. So basically, the scriptures are telling us that we have to have a strong mentality, man. And that I'm going to get, I think it's 1 Peter 1 and 13. They're telling you about having a strong mentality, man. It's a lot. This is 1 Peter's 1 and 13, and it says, wherefore gird up the loins of your mind. So girding up your loins, that means to strengthen yourself up, man. To stand up, to get yourself right. So it starts with your mentality. It starts with your way of thinking. Because you gotta have a strong mentality, man. In order to do the things that we have to do, in order to function correctly and appropriately and sufficiently in this truth, in order to be men of the Lord and men in general. It all starts in your thought process, how you think, how you do every action. Even in your personal life, in your work life, and in your life in this truth. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end that the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Mashiach YAHAWASHI. As obedient children, and Peter breaks it down right here, as obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance. Well, that's talking about a complete and total mental overhaul, a new way of thinking, man. A new standard to live by, a harder standard to live by, because this is why it's called the straight gate. So you gotta be hard on yourself, man. I remember there was a saying that I heard one time, and basically it says, the harder you are on yourself, the easier life is to you. So we have to be hard on ourselves, man. We have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. But as he which has called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. That word conversation means behaviors. That's basically telling you that we have to live according to a higher standard than what we once were. When we were before we came into this truth. Because, like I said, man, most of us were raised in a fatherless household, raised by our mothers. Because that's part of the curses. And we were really taught to have those lessons, man, of manhood. It was that I'm gonna get Psalms 18 and 32 says, because the first Kings it says, be thou strong. And where do we get our strength? We get that strength from the Most High. It's not talking about going out there and doing 100 push-ups. With nothing wrong with exercise, but that's not what he's getting at. This is a Psalms 18 and 32. Psalms 18:30 says, Yahawah that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect. So our strength, in our walk, in our discipline, in our integrity, that's going to come from the Most High. That's going to come from our learning these scriptures and applying them, to our life, man. Holding ourselves up to the standards of the scriptures. That's where our strength is going to be. We can't do that. We can't complete that mission on our own accord. It's from the Most High, man. Let's have again 2 Corinthians 3 and 5. 2 Corinthians 3 and 5. And it says, not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think in anything as of ourselves. So, your way, our way ain't going to cut it. It got to be according to the Most High, according to the Lord, according to the higher standard that the Lord calls us to live up to. But our sufficiency is of Yahawah, and that word sufficiency, it means our qualification or adequacy. So we get our adequacy, to be a man from the Most High. We get our strength from the Most High, man. The Most High is the one that girds us with strength, that we read in Psalm 18 and 32. With that, I'm gonna get First Chronicles 29 and 12. Just a real quick lesson, a few scriptures that I was meditating upon. First Chronicles 29 and 12, and it says, "Both riches and honor come of thee, from the who? The Most High, and thou reignest over all, and in thy hand is power and might." So everything comes from the Most High, man. So we have to constantly pray to the Most High that we live up to that standard, that we have, that our sufficiency is bestowed upon us from the Most High. And in thy hand it is to make great and to give strength unto all. And how are we made great, man? We are made great by following the law, statutes, and commandments, and we are given strength by doing the same. That's why we read in 1 Kings 2 and 2, this is, "Be thou strong and show thyself a man." That's what David told the king. That what David told to Solomon. And then he broke it down that, follow the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what's going to make you great, so that might prosper in all that you do. So it comes down to holding ourselves to the standard of the scriptures. So that's why it's very important to stay in these scriptures, man. Blessed he that readeth. That's where we learn to be a man. That's by holding ourselves to these values, these standards, these requirements. That's how we attain that manhood, man. With that, I'm gonna get 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. So it's required of us to do that, man. So like 1 Corinthians 13 and 11, it says, "When I was a child, I spake as a child, and understood as a child, I thought as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things." So that means that we have to do away with that old man, that old being that we were, that old way of thinking, where you basically just made excuses for the bullshit that we did. That lazy mentality, that undisciplined mentality, that mentality of no order. If something's too hard, you don't do it. If something's too hard, you give up. You get discouraged. Being emotional. That you can. These are childish things that we are told to put away, because that's not a man. A man's not emotional. So that I'm gonna get Ephesians 4 and 31. I think it is. It says, "Wherefore, putting away lying, speaking every man truth to his neighbor." So like I'm gonna start at verse 22. This is Ephesians 4 and 22. It says, "But you put off concerning the former conversation the old man." Because the old man, what he wasn't really he was a man of the Lord. He was a man of the world. He had the mentality of this world, which is a bullshit mentality that they teach you. If it feels good, do it. Do as thou will type bullshit. If it's too hard, give up. It's just a weak mentality that they put upon us, man. Which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. Yeah, because following your own lust, man. Doing whatever feels good to you, doing what you want to do. When you live your life by integrity, and when you live your life to a standard, and you live your life, with discipline, you don't get to do everything that you want to do, man. You don't get to enjoy a lot of things that you want to enjoy. Why? Because you have to keep yourself in order. You have to do things that you have to do to keep yourself living to that standard. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind. So that's once again talking about changing the way you think. We have to think differently. And that you put on the new man. And one of the way we do that is we have to have a completely and different mindset. Which after Yahawah is created in righteousness and true holiness. And where do we get that mentality, that new mentality? That whether we renew with the spirit of our mind was through these scriptures, man. By applying these scriptures to our daily life, by disciplining ourselves, by putting yourself in order, because that's how you get that new mentality, man. You got to have a stronger mentality. And then you put on the new man, which after Yahawah is created in righteousness and true holiness. Verse 25, wherefore putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. So that's what we did back in our old former lust, in our former man. You lied to everybody to make yourself look big or make yourself look something like you ain't. Lie to, just to get your fucking way. Be ye angry and sin not. Let the sun go down upon your wrath. That's talking about controlling your emotions. Because these 2/3, these jakes out here, they're full of emotion, and they react on emotion. Everything they do is full of emotion. That's why the prison system is filled with so much of you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Because whatever actions you took was based on your emotions. Whatever crime it was, is because you didn't want to control your emotions because you had no discipline. You stole something because you didn't have discipline to work for it. So you felt like you had to have it. Or you got into a fight with somebody, you got drunk and got into a fight with somebody because you didn't control your emotions. Or whatever, man. Be not angry and sin not, let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So, we have to keep our emotions in check. Neither give place to the devil. So what does that mean, man? You got to constantly fight your flesh. You got to constantly deny yourself certain things. You got to hold yourself to criteria. And it's going to be hard, but it's going to make you hard, And we have to be hard. That's why I said, he that endureth to them, the saints shall be saved. That word endure means to make hard, man. Thou therefore endure hard like a good soldier, Meshach YAHAWASHI. That word, like I said, that word endure to make hard. So we have to be hard men, basically. With that being said, man, this is a real quick lesson, a few scriptures about manhood, living up to a standard, living up to living a life of order and discipline. The Most High will and hope it was edifying. That one say, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Shalom.